Good morning, folks. This morning is going to be a really important conversation. We're talking about the relationship between technology and humans. We're talking about change and transformation. That's why I want to talk with SP Singh, who's a fantastic person I've met via our Lifter business networking group. SP, welcome to this chat.
Leigh, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Mate, you and I have already had a fantastic meeting down the city where you mapped out a whole lot of things on a whiteboard and kind of blew me away. And you live in this world of technology and you call it enterprise-based software, enterprise-based technology. And I'm going, what the hell is he talking about? So I'm going to ask a whole lot of dumb questions this morning and help particularly chief executives and people in the C-suite realize the possibilities. Certainly you blew my mind with some of the case studies you've been working on. And at the same time, we know it's all very well creating all this technology, but if the people don't come on the journey with you, you've just got a pile of technology and it not working. So maybe we start with your background, SP. Tell us about your background and how you've got to be where you are now as an expert in enterprise-wide, enterprise-based, well, you tell me what it's called, enterprise something technology.
And let's say enterprise software, yes.
Enterprise software, okay, whatever that means. So SP, tell us about your journey and how you've got to be where you are.
Great, thank you, Leigh. And thank you for the kind words as well. I don't consider myself the expert by any stretch, but yeah, I'm a lifelong learner. Let's start with when I came to Australia. So I'm from India, did most of my studies back home and came here, did my studies, got first opportunity to work as a BA in Bank West. And then I found passion in business systems and technology. So technology that supports the business, and realized that there's a lot to be done, a lot to be sorted out. And yeah, from their point onwards, primarily I'm working in is business or enterprise software. So we partner with medium-sized businesses, understand their business inside out, and improve productivity and customer experience using technology. We start with enterprise software. That's the start, not end.
Right. So, I mean, I've written a number of notes straight away, as you say, technology that supports the business. So then, as you said, you want to get to know the business inside out, because then when you're looking at the business inside out, you're looking at it through the glasses, through the possibilities of the technology. In other words, I imagine it's a bit like a dietitian looking at a person's diet and immediately seeing the possibilities for how it can be healthier. In your case, you're looking at the business, a medium-sized business, and saying, boy, it's functioning the way it is, but if only it changed these systems and used this technology that's now available, we could do a whole lot more. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, with the difference that we start with business. So we understand what business is doing or organization is doing now. Where are the key gaps? So we look at the capability level, and we'll try to dig deep as we get more into the discussions. So we look at the business at a capability levels. So how these individual capabilities are functioning now as standalone, and how are they working in more silos, or are there a lot of stuff happening manually? So what are how individual capabilities are working cohesively or not? And then what gaps are there? So how we can fill those gaps within those capabilities at enterprise level, and which technology can support us. So sometimes organizations already have enterprise software, but they're not being utilized well. They may not have been upgraded, or the enterprise software is just sitting there, and over 10 years, no one has made any improvements. So we look case by case basis, look at the enterprise, what are the business problems at the enterprise level, what are the key gaps, and what opportunities out there. So that means there are software technology available through to us. It's already there. It's just we're not aware of it. So we can bring that technology in to really skyrocket that specific capability. And yeah, we look all these different aspects, come up with a roadmap, and yeah, start with the first project and keep going and transforming the business.
Yes, and look, you've said a whole lot of great things there straight away. One, as we know, if the person you're talking to happens to be a salesperson for a CRM or a certain company, then of course they're going to be looking to sell that particular item. Or if a person is selling a particular communications system, or if they're selling a particular bookkeeping system, and so they're going to be biased straight away. Whereas I know straight away you're not associated with any particular company. You're not coming in saying, I want to sell this product. You're starting with the company, the organization, the medium-sized business, and diagnosing or looking at that through your eyes and all of the knowledge and the possibilities. So you're not looking at it through any bias. Now, the other thing you've said there, which I love, is we start with the first project. In other words, let's break this journey down into bite-sized chunks. Let's break this down into, let's get the first chunk in and operating, and then we'll get the second chunk in and operating, versus let's get 100 chunks and literally overwhelm the business, or try and sell as much as possible in the first 6 months and then run, which of course is not an uncommon situation when people buy whether it be CRM or bookkeeping or whatever the particular software is. So you gave me a number of case studies. Now, but before we even go to the case studies, when you say medium-sized business, give me your definition of medium-sized business. What's your parameters around medium-sized business?
So when I say medium-sized business, it's not small business. So any business over 30 employees, over 10 million of revenue, we consider that as a medium-sized business. And on the upper end, it would be quite a few thousand employees and revenue. So I think that, and the reason we differentiate is the technology and the language and the process is much different. So we specialize in medium-sized businesses.
And when you say we, tell me the name of your business and what got you to choose that name, because clearly it means something to you, but it means little or nothing to me. So what is it? Tell me the name. What does it mean?
Okay, so the company name is Bani Consulting, and Bani is my eldest daughter name. So her name is Bani. When she was born, there was a thought bubble in my mind that, we should have our own business, our own company, and name the company on her name. And that sort of dream came true in 2020 when my second daughter was born. Yeah, so it took us a while, but that's a bit of history about Bani.
Fantastic. You're reminding me of one of my other clients, Paul Blackburn, a real estate developer, a building that he built over in Swanbourne, a luxury apartment block he called Aria, and that's named after his daughter as well. So it's one of those little family cute things that people do. So very nice, mate. And SP's a human being, ladies and gentlemen. He's not just a technology robot. That's good to know. He's got a heart and a brain. So SP, why don't you share some of the slides you've got there to help explain what you do and how you do it. And then we'll look at some case studies, because this is often very conceptual in people's minds. And until we ground it down and make it concrete with specific examples, it's all up in the air and it's very easy to lose people. But we're talking here, folks, about businesses, technology, the possibilities of technology being combined with human beings to then implement and use, and we use the word enable and empower. So the technology enables and empowers people to literally expand their capabilities and expand and grow the business. So tell us what you've got here. SP.
Great. Thank you, Leigh. So I'll step you through mainly two slides. They are reference models, and this is a start, not end. And I would like to encourage you to really probe, ask questions, so our audience can get a bit of perspective as well. So it's more of a discussion tool. So let's put that.
Absolutely. Don't worry, if I have questions or you're losing me, I'll let you know.
No worries. Okay, so these are a few reference models. So on my screen, I'm sharing, this is things business. I just created this one. There are multiple ways we can define it. So I named this model on my own sort of last name.
Mhm.
This is a reference model of a overall business, and they're different people or the different roles. They look business from a different ways. Like a CFO would look into numbers. They will be looking at revenue, the EBITDA and others. So they have got the financials and ratios, and they look from a numbers perspective. CEOs and HR and all of us, we have a different lens to look at. So the lens which I'm looking at is which I say is enterprise. And it starts with, so a customer is on the top, and the dotted line is our enterprise, our business. On the behind, so just beneath the business, we have got external influencers. So we're not alone. Always there are external influencers that are impacting or influencing us in a positive, negative, or neutral way. And that could be our economy, government, environment. There could be other inventions, ChatGPT as an example, acquisitions, mergers, which is going on within a business, industrial forces, regulators, market forces. There could be quite a few. This is just to give an example that we are not alone. What doesn't matter what we're doing, whether we are doing a transformation or it's a business as usual work, always these external influencers are influencing us knowingly or unknowingly. It's better to keep an eye, look outside and see what's going on. So these are external influencers. And if we try to dig deep into any enterprise really, so there are three pillars, which is leadership, enterprise architecture, and governance. Again, doesn't matter what we are doing, these three pillars are must have. The stronger they are, better the organization will operate. And this is not a project thing. This is something that should be in a DNA of any organization. Keep on investing and improving these three pillars. On the bottom, that's where we say our vision, values, and mission. There could be different names we want to choose. Based upon those foundations, we have a strategy and tactics to say where we sit right now, where we want to go going forward. Based upon those strategy and tactics, we develop business models, we develop partnerships, policies, we develop this organizational structure. And then we develop capabilities, which we spoke briefly before. So the capabilities could be, say, at a high level within finance, manufacturing, inventory management, HR. So, and again, within these are like a big capabilities, and we divide, say, finance into accounts receivable, payable, and so forth. Within receivable, payable, we further subdivide. So that's what we call as capabilities. Value chains is more end-to-end, what we are delivering to the customer. So what value product or services we are delivering to the customer. And that's supported by business processes, rules, and resources. And then we develop procedures, behaviors, and culture to finally produce a product and service which is on the top to the customer. So when we are looking at enterprise, what is tangible is our product and services. We look how good we are delivering those at the speed at which we are delivering, what is the quality of them. But these are all tangible metrics. What is not so tangible is all these elements, all these functions that are not directly visible or measurable. And I think that could be a key missing point when we are evaluating the efficiency and productivity or improvement in products and services. And there is a stakeholders always, could be shareholders, but other stakeholders that we need to be aware of. So that's a reference model that I think opens our eyes to a big picture. And doesn't matter what we are doing, I think we should be able to reflect back and look at the big picture and see what we are doing and how it is impacting that big picture. I'll stop there, and if you have any
No, well,
questions.
I can see, that's why we're talking, because in many ways, as you say, you specialize in the enterprise architecture that brings to life and supports everything from vision and values and mission right through to behaviors and culture. And what I do and have done for 40 years is essentially work with the leadership teams of medium and large businesses to not only establish and clarify the vision and values and mission, but literally working right through to strategy, tactics, procedures, behavior. And then we break it down right into micro projects and what we call innovation micro projects, so that we are moving the organization forward to deliver, better products, better services, better prices, better sales. But what you're doing, and that's why I said it's so beautiful, the synergy that we're talking about, is that immediately you can be either creating and or bringing in software and technology to support the systems. I'm thinking straight away to a client I'm working with at the moment, and something as simple as, but critical as, their meeting structure or their lack of meeting structure, and then their lack of meetings actually converting those meetings into decisions and micro projects to move forward. If there was some basic or useful software or architecture where people could structure their meetings, capture the data from within those meetings, and then also the CEO or other managers have visibility. So it would actually start to bring in discipline and structure. And of course, what we found is, even at the level we've been operating, by bringing in more discipline and structure, the people are going, wow, it's amazing what happens when you actually have organized, structured meetings, not just chats that end up with nothing. And as we know, just take the meeting thing alone, some massive number, well over 50% of meetings. If you ask people in organizations what percentage of meetings are not productive or a waste of time, it's well over 60% and closer to 80%. So I can see straight away what you and I could do there with that group and say, hey, let's just put this meeting structure and project management structure in place to get more done, let alone a whole range of other things around communication and customer service and empowering customers. So that certainly helps me there in terms of that super powerful relationship between the leadership and the enterprise architecture, and clearly then also governance in and around financial performance. Because what I'm saying, in every meeting should be talking about at least 3 KPIs. So what are the numbers we're measuring here? What are the dashboards that we should be playing to? A bit like, football. Where's the scoreboard? If we can't see the scoreboard and the clock, we're in trouble. So again, you can be both creating and providing the KPI, scoreboard and clock, and even sometimes we talk about in sales, run rate or productivity rate. Way back as far as Andrew Carnegie, just writing what was the production number at the end of the shift. They wrote it on the floor in chalk, and they noticed that immediately started to change the way people approach their work. So here you, with the capacity to provide dashboards and scoreboards without it looking like a airplane cockpit, but what are the top 3 to 5 numbers that particular team should be using? And if we link that with meetings, and then of course link that with strategic plan and key goals and key projects, and then train the people and work with the people to embed that. And as you say, break it down into chunks so we're not overwhelming. We really do start to enable and empower to help expand the capability and the performance of the business. What are your thoughts on what I've just said there?
No, 100%, Leigh. And I think the possibilities are endless. And this is one of the fundamental, I would say, problems with the delivery, because if we're trying to break silos within our own silo, the effectiveness is not that great. Because if I'm, say, enterprise architecture or technology, I say with technology, I am breaking the silos of the different capabilities, say, between finance and manufacturing. So I'm breaking that silo. But if I am not careful, I am itself working in a silo of technology without considering the leadership, governance, and other elements. So if I'm looking at a big picture now and collaboratively working with the experts like you from leadership, now we are looking at a big picture, and then we say, okay, look, let's say, for as an example, meetings management, say, with how to conduct good meetings as a very high level example. So you help the organization to put forward that and coach that aspect. From enterprise software perspective, what tools are available to support the effective meetings? That means recording the meetings, taking the meeting minutes, distributing the meeting minutes, and how to effectively manage the data and information management. So I bring those tools in. Now we are talking, this is a fundamental change where the organization knows how to effectively run the meetings, not just conceptually, but now they have got supportive tools as well. And now it's a much better change. Just to add to it, I think just to paint a bit of picture for our audience, it is like a ripple. If we are working on a leadership side and we did a project, we explain how to run meetings, again, example, it's a little ripple. It has effect, but how about if we synchronize that ripple with, say, enterprise architecture or software or technology ripple, and it's synchronized? That means now it's a much more bigger effect. And then we have all these other ripples, we synchronize them. I think we could have a tide. That's where the net effect of our collaboration and our effort will be much higher. That's where the transformation happens. And I think it's must have. I don't think it's a choice. We must look things at much wider perspective, and those collaborations are going to be very, very effective.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I think as you say, the possibilities are endless. It's brilliant. You've got some other slides there, SP. Share what else we've got that takes the conversation even further.
No problem. So the next one is.
Oh boy, there's a bit of information here, SP.
Thank you. So now it's very, I think it's something we should all look in detail. So the next one is an aged care reference model. This is at a capabilities level. So on the top, we have strategic, and under strategic, we say this is more for the key audience are executives. So we say talk about policy, strategy, investments, marketing, governance, business management, partnership management. There could be more, but again, these are all these capabilities that executives are interested in. The core business is there could be, say, events, funding management. There is a client management. Under client management, we've got client assessment. The client comes in, we do assessment and see which category they fit in, what funding could be available, so forth. And there are other elements I won't dig deep, but they're client management sort of capabilities. Yeah, care management, it could be disability, residential care, yeah, and other elements. So that's what aged care business do in general. So these are the core functions that any aged care business would be offering. And they are supported by these business support functions. That is a HR, business intelligence, that's all the reporting at enterprise level. There could be there will be ICT, project management, information management, legal, training, finance, so many other things. So these are all the support or shared services. In bigger organizations, we use that in shared services. But there are all the business support functions which are supporting the core business, and the core business is driven by the decisions at a strategic level. So these are the high-level capabilities for executives. That's another way to look at the business, and it's more specific, it's more domain specific. So in this instance, this is aged care. So if we are bringing, say, for instance, a customer says or prospect says, okay, look, I have a problem in how to manage the clients. I cannot see what's coming, what's going. I don't know how many inquiries are being made. The billing takes so much time by sort of end of month process takes too long, and cash flow is always a problem. So I throw a few things in. So based upon these problems, these could be symptoms, and I think that's where we should look at the big picture and say, based upon these problems / symptoms, what the root cause of the problem is, and where the problem is, we should not just look at that specific element. We should be looking the touch points to strategy and other business functions as well, to have a holistic view of the problem, understand the root cause and where those symptoms come, and then come up with a solution. What generally happens is, the customer comes up with a problem, say, look, my customer management is poor. And the next response from a vendor or someone within IT will say, oh, we need a CRM. And then the customer looks for a new CRM or upgrade their existing CRM. But we don't look at the problem, these symptoms, and what are the interrelationships at the enterprise level to come up with specific solutions. That's I think one of the fundamental flaws in thinking and the investments are we making in technology. There is no silver bullet that the customer, if my customer management system is not good, that doesn't necessarily always mean I need a CRM, but that's the general inference that most businesses are drawing almost every day. And those decisions are, once that decision is made, we're just gonna keep on investing on that path, which may not be ideal for the businesses.
As you say, silver bullet. I was thinking people are looking for a silver bullet. Oh, we'll just fix the CRM and then everything will be okay. Whereas, as you say, you need to know the business inside out, and look much more holistically so that you're actually solving the real problem, not just the symptom of the problem. And again, if all you're doing is getting advice from a vendor of one product, you can be certain, well, as Abraham Maslow said, if the only tool you have is a hammer, a lot of things start to look like nails. So if the only thing you do is sell CRMs, then of course, everything looks like it's a CRM-based problem. Versus, as I look at this model here, and as you say, client assessment management, well, there's software and technology associated with that, but there's other software associated with the self-service portal. There's other software associated with the contact center management. There's other software associated with client feedback management and project management, business intelligence, HR. What can end up happening is an organization ends up with 20 or more, or let's say 10 or more separate pieces of financial management. Clearly there's training, will have another OH&S. So you end up with all these different systems within an organization. In a large number of cases, they don't actually talk to each other, and you can't actually extract data that actually links OH&S with HR, or OH&S with project management, or OH&S with training. And I'm sure you've come across a payroll management is completely separate to HR. So what you're talking about, I assume, is a way of designing and integrating these things so that they talk to each other, and people at the strategic level actually get far more useful data, which again, from a leadership point of view, we say data-driven decisions, not opinion-based decisions. So you're empowering that senior level with better data to make better decisions. What are your comments on that?
No, certainly, Leigh. The point you made around integrations, it's we often get into a position where we've got 10 or more systems, they don't talk to each other. And then there is another investment, another project. Let's replace those 10, bring one in. And that tends to happen as well. But that's not the right way. Who has led or why we have chosen those 10 systems over 20 years now, we're replacing them. So I think that's where the value add is from our side, being independent, partnering with the customers. We understand the business inside out and what capabilities software can support them today, tomorrow, and in future, and looking at the holistic view. I think of like it's more of a generally businesses who are not aware or are not educated enough as what is possible. So like the services which we offer, they build a house, and just more of an analogy. It's like I'm sitting in a room. I said, look, I have a bigger family now. I need another room, and I get someone to put another room, and then I realize, look, that room, I don't have a plumbing right between two rooms. So okay, I get some plumber to do that plumbing, and it's all wishy-washy, not that great. Now I think I can now got two rooms. I need a play area for kids, and then someone create that area, and now I've got electrical issues. So because I haven't thought the initial what my current and future needs could be, and based upon that, ask an architect to put together a plan for me, and based upon that plan, what I should be doing now and what I should or can do within say 3 to 5 years, it's a much different outcome. So I think the initial architect, the initial consultation and partnership with that architect is a key, and that's the value we offer.
Right. So it's actually, as you say, a strategic view rather than a quick fix, short-term silver bullet view.
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's what now this diagram makes a lot more sense, as in showing the intricacies. And as you say, it's very easy to end up with a pile of silos, where you say the HR silo, the payroll management silo, the OH&S silo, the client assessment management silo. That it's very easy for organizations to drift off into these silos, whereas of course we want a synergistic approach.
Absolutely.
Breaking down the walls and go to transparency and empowerment. What's the next slide you've got there, SP?
No, that's pretty much it, Leigh.
So great. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So that actually starts to give us a taste. Can we go to your website and just give us an insight into one of the case studies which you and I shared once before, because that helped bring to life a real life example of an organization where you started to expose them to the possibilities with technology, and at the same time break down walls and enable and empower that but not only enable and empower the organization, enable and empower the customers and the members of that organization, which was a real example of opening up the possibilities with technology. But at the same time, I'm imagining that, as you say, from a leadership point of view and a communication point of view and even a cultural point of view, how people within the organization started to communicate differently and operate differently and better and easier as a result of what you'd done.
Gumla Aboriginal Corporation is dedicated to delivering programs and services to its members that are impactful in the present and beneficial in the future. Recognising they needed an experienced and dedicated partner to implement specialised ERP solutions, they engaged SP Singh.
The perfect recipe of the successful project needs a right customer, a right partner, and the right integrator. I feel blessed working and serving Gumla from last 2.5 years.
SP also worked with Gumla to implement a 24/7 members portal.
So introducing the members portal, it's cut down on the phone calls that we receive. It makes better interaction between the members and the member services team in sending through applications, updating details, and any other information that needs to be put through the system.
So starting from lodging the application to tracking the application and finally receiving funds, everything is digital, trackable on your mobile device.
In finance, we process member payments every day, and the ERP system has allowed appropriate controls in place, transactions going to the right people and having the correct approvals. That's also allowed us to process more transactions on a daily basis, benefiting members. I'm also actually a member of FMWA as well. So I get to work with family, and it's been really great to start here and learn more about the history of FMWA and just learn about family connections and things like that. When I first started working here and was working in the membership services team, we had SP come in and he was building a members portal for us. So it's basically an online portal that our members can access to find out how much funding they have and make applications and things like that.
Gumala also needed a more efficient voting system, so SP got busy.
SP had designed the electronic voting in a way that 700 members to 1,000 people could vote electronically on the day, which helped us elect our directors on the day. So overall, my experience with him with the ARP projects was that he came on board, he helped us with the projects that actually brought down the operational cost to a lower amount and helped the productivity.
It took us a while. We have to sweat, we have to stress. That was not simple, but it is fruitful. And the digital transformation should never stop.
Wow. I mean, there's a whole range of great things in there, SP, not the least of which, as you said, the digital transformation should never stop. Why? Because digital transformation is not going to stop. And I'm thinking of Jack Welch of General Electric saying, if the rate of change outside the organization is faster than the rate of change inside the organization, you're going backwards. So as you say, you actually need a digital transformation coach from within the organization, making sure that you're at least keeping up with what's going on in the external world. Otherwise, you're going to be going backwards. And your brilliant point there of making it trackable and using the mobile device. So where an organization can be using digital transformation so that people are using their mobile devices, knowing full well that, you know, a massive amount of viewing and work and eyeballs are on mobile devices. If you're not using mobile devices to actually facilitate change and productivity, then you're not in the game, are you?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's really, we are now much more mobile than ever in the history. And while we are mobile, we are connected. And it makes absolute sense to have these mobile capabilities. And it could be managers who are, or decision makers who are traveling. It could be care workers who are in the field. It could be mechanics or technical people who are out in the desert around. There is no one else there. So it is about their safety, information that we are capturing. There's so many different elements. So I think mobility is one of the key fundamental capabilities that almost all businesses must consider.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. So SP, what would be the first step if a chief exec, a business owner, a manager, what's the first point of contact? What's the process that someone would go through to at least begin a conversation and even get a taste of what you and I can do to actually help them transform performance and empower their people and really realize their full potential using, as you say, a digital transformation using technology? What's the first step?
I think the first step is conversation and honest, upfront, very clear communication. And to undertake digital transformation, there are, like as I mentioned in video as well, it's for a perfect recipe, we need a right partner, right customer, and the true leaders. And our expectation from the customer is really, if there is a high probability of success when the executive team has got those fundamental leadership skills and they're driven to make a change, that's where the great things happen. So we start with conversation, honest conversation, what's going on within a business, what the key gaps, problems, symptoms that everyone is experiencing. So we start the conversation from at a strategic level, at a high level. Then we engage with the department heads, say the executive managers, senior managers from each and every department. We have a similar discussion, but more at an operational level with them. And we do a thorough assessment of the three main elements. The first is the organizational structure, how organization is structured to offer the services and products to the customer. So this is structure, organization structure, that's one. The second is information systems. So how they're using the tools and technology software to deliver what they do every day. And the third is more from a process and procedure side. So how effectively are they using and how convoluted their processes are. And that sits more within an enterprise architecture. So we look at three different aspects of the business and come up with a roadmap or a action plan that we suggest to the decision makers. Say, looking at our enterprise level view, these are the key problems, these are the key gaps, these are the key opportunities, and the sequence, the proposed sequence is this. It's we can start with this small element and then we can grow from there. That's the general approach. Yeah. So yeah, that's one of the ways we can engage or start.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, you've mapped that out, and as we said, as you did with so many of the other clients, bite-sized chunks, micro project by micro project, and people can then experience the benefits of each of those chunks, whether it be the membership portal or the voting or whatever the particular area happens to be. They can go, wow, that worked. Let's go to the next stage. So it's a great example of what we call positive reinforcement. That worked. Let's do some more. So SP, people can touch base with you or me on this, and we'll then, as you say, go to the next step of having a detailed conversation with the executives. But the leadership need to, as you say, have an appetite for change and taking advantage of the possibilities of digital transformation. SP, anything you'd like to say before we wrap up this conversation?
No, I just want to say thank you, big thank you to you for organizing this, Leigh. And the key message is really, I think one of the it may not have been recorded, but that's more, I don't have a data to support it. But in my experience, one of the biggest waste on planet Earth is a human potential. So we are not utilizing human potential to the best of our ability. And one of the key reasons is that we are doing things manually. We are doing things for sake of it. We are not acknowledging that how much potential in a given individual has. I think we all as executives, as decision makers, as business owners, we must look at it and what we can do about it. I think that's it's very painful to see people struggling to go to the business or work and then say, oh yes, it's Friday, it's over. I think it's a pathetic way to look at the work. I want to see people being exciting, like every day they're so excited to go to work and add value. And I think as executives and business managers and owners, we must do something fundamentally different. And one of the ways we can solve this problem or contribute to solve this problem is by digital transformation. So the unnecessarily, the repeatable work can be done by a machine, and we can utilize the human potential for something better, something more value added. And with that, we can improve productivity, efficiency, profitability, Yeah, and much better engagement from our employees, something we must all look.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's why we talk LFBB is really about leadership, future, clearly finances, and being the very best you can be. And that's what you're talking about there. Digital transformation to help humans at work be the very best they can be. Thank you, SP, and I'll see you very soon. We'll get this video out far and wide, and let's actually help organizations and help people within those organizations, as you say, realize their full potential. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Leigh. Cheers. Thank you all.
Bye.